Hi, I'm Diane Arnold with the Longwood Small Business Development Center. Today I'm here to discuss with Terry Basconi the ways to make a good impression when you go to borrow money and what a banker is going to expect from you and what you can expect from the banker. Terry is a relationship manager with J.E. Halderman and Company. They are an alternative lending source, but Terry has a unique background in that she has been a conventional banker for years, and she worked both the front office and the back office of the business, and that's important because it means that she knows the lending process from start to finish. So Terry, would you like to explain just a little bit to our audience about what the different responsibilities are for the front office, back office?
Okay. The last job I did, I was actually front office, which meant that I met with commercial business customers. I was actually a commercial lender. I met with the commercial customers. I analyzed their financials, made the decisions based if they could get the loan or not. The back office was actually getting the documents after the loan was approved, getting them on the system book, making sure there were no problems with any of the documentation on that side, as well as making sure that the booking and the payments and that sort of thing were on the system to where they would get their billing in time to make their payments and that sort of thing.
Okay, and both of these responsibilities are key into making sure that your relationship with your banker goes well and that your loan is orderly and processed and that the bank stays out of trouble with the regulators. Now, one of the things that people ask me when they come and want help with packaging a loan is, how do I prepare for this meeting with the lender? So Terry, as a lender, what do you expect from borrowers that come to you for money, and especially if they want to make a good impression?
I expect them to be very well prepared, call ahead of time, schedule a meeting, have their business plan, and pretty much if they want to be overly prepared, ask me what they need to bring to the meeting other than the business plan, and be on time, dress properly. First impressions are key, even for bankers. You know, don't come in scruffy blue jeans and an unkept appearance, because even though I try not to judge people, we tend to. First impressions are pretty important from a banker standpoint as well.
Thank you. One of the things we do here at the SBDC is we try to prepare you for this, and we do have some handouts on things that you need to do, and we even have people sometimes, Terry, practice their handshake so that a nice firm clasp of the hand shows that you are a person who's decisive and committed to this project. Now, in terms of the borrower, it's important for you as a borrower to know what you can expect from a lender. So what will they expect from the lender?
When you first meet with the lender, I tell people to be prepared with an elevator speech, if you will, to give the basic information about what they're trying to do, what their goals are, and what they're trying to accomplish. If it's a new business, you know, tell me about it. You know, let me know what it is so that I can understand it. The expectations from the lender are you're not going to know that day, because it takes some analysis and gathering some information to letting them read your business plan and go over it and then decide questions at that time. But don't expect an answer that same day. Just be prepared to leave your business plan, and if you know, a good lender will typically say, I'll be back to you in a couple of days or the next day if it's kind of a small request, but it just gives them time, and you're at their schedule. You know, you never know what they've got going on that may be ahead of you. So that initial meeting is where you will make your impression, and they probably are not going to say a whole lot to you at that meeting.
Okay, great. So you do not borrow money overnight in most instances. You do have to spend some time and give the lender a heads up, and ask at that meeting what the timeline is. And this is predicated on the fact that you will give them all the things that they ask for when they ask for it. They'll give you the timeline when they can reasonably expect to get a loan approved and all the paperwork done. Now, we have, Terry, a entrepreneur's business planning guide that we use with clients, and it starts with feasibility study and goes all the way through. So These are the questions that need to be answered ahead of time so that when you sit down with someone like Terry, you can really articulate what it is you want to do, and then you can begin the process of building, making sure that you've got in that business plan all the facts and figures that they're going to need to see, and you want those documented, correct?
Yes.
You want it from real, this is real information and not anecdotal. Now, can you name some of the other documents that are going to be needed? Let's say that a borrower comes in and you've asked Terry for money, and the initial meetings have gone well. On paper, it looks good. They want to move to the next phase to start the application process and get everything done. What other documents are you going to need in order to finish this out?
The typical banker will ask for 3 years tax returns on the business if it's an existing business, and personal tax returns as well, along with a personal financial statement. And those are critical documents to show the strength of your business if it's an existing business, and the personal ones as far as how much you've been paid. And if you're starting a business, it's still important too to show, okay, you had the earnings potential, because a lot of people that are doing startup businesses are starting it part-time and keeping their job, so that's important information to know.
Okay, and one of the other things that I've often seen, especially for people who have been doing a part-time business, or people who self-funded initially and now need to really structure their business and find a banking partner, as I like to call them. They're going to want to look at leases. If you are applying for some of the underwritten programs, particularly if you're a veteran, they're going to have the DD-14. So there are all kinds of paperwork that needs to be pulled together, and it's important to ask up front so you can start assembling that. And you might do that when you talk to the banker and make that initial appointment, which is so critical. Now, next thing I'd like to ask you about, Terry, is the equity injection for most loans and what you consider equity.
Okay, most loans will require at least a minimum of 20% equity in. And when we're talking about equity in, that's where it gets important to be so detailed with your uses of the loan proceeds. You can, part of your business expenses are articles of organization that you get through an attorney, accounting to get your EIN numbers to pay your taxes. There's a number of, you may have like $500 lease, upfront lease payment that you have to make. All of these things in detail will come up with the total cost of what we call a project. And we can do normally, typically 80% of project costs.
Okay. So if you have a $50,000 project, that means that $10,000 of that is going to be your equity injection. And if you've spent $2,000 organizing, you're going to expect as a banker that the borrower will put up the other $8,000.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
And keep good records and receipts of the things that you've spent, because they're going to want to see those as well.
That's why it's very important to keep good records, and you should start that at the very beginning. Now, the next thing that we often are questioned about is, once you are funded, how closely does the borrower need to work with the lender?
The borrower should look at their business banker as having a relationship with them, not just I'm going to the bank to borrow money, that's the last time I'm going to see you kind of thing. Because if you're in business, you're going to have other needs that are going to come up, purchasing additional equipment, working capital, that sort of thing. So you need to have, the banker that you work with needs to be somebody that you're comfortable with, because you're going to have a relationship with them, especially initially going in.
One of the things we recommend is that if you see that you're going to get you have a bad month and you can't make all of your payments, you need to contact the banker immediately and allow them to know about that information. And what can you do if somebody calls you and says, I can't make that entire loan payment this month?
A lot of times, if you're honest and upfront with the banker, they'll put you on interest only if it's just a short-term type thing that you only need it for a month, say. Or if you're finding that your business is seasonal, you can structure the loan according to their needs, not necessarily according to the bank, but they could put you on interest-only payments for a period of time. and that will ease it a little bit. Or they can, 1 month they can give you an extension on the loan if you pay the interest and a fee or something. But you really don't let the banker call you. You call the banker.
The last point that I'd like to discuss today is that of defaulting. If you get into business and then you find you're just not going to make it, who is ultimately responsible for that loan?
The person that owns the business is in essence responsible for it, because they are the business and they will be required to guarantee the loan. So ultimately it falls on the borrower, not just the business. It'll be required personal guarantees, or these days a requirement of any type of loan. So they're personally responsible for it as well as their business responsible.
The important point here is you cannot start a business without credit. When you start a business, the credit will be your personal credit. If you're smart and you keep moving along, you take care of that credit score, at some point the bank is going to work with you to turn that personal credit into a business credit. So that's key. That's the goal we want everybody to work towards.
Yes.
We thank you very much, and our next topic will be loans and length of terms. There's a recap of the discussion points at the end of this presentation, along with the contact information and how to reach both myself and Terry. For additional information, please check out our website at www.sbdc-longwood.edu, where you can pick up our materials for planning a business.